Good morning. Good morning, gentle souls. Welcome to the meditation place at Ahiah. Every Sunday we do this. I invite you to just sit back wherever you are. Perhaps you're listening at home. You might be in bed, you might be driving, sitting here. Wherever you are, open to what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling. Be in this moment of now. Note your breath. Just notice your breath as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Notice as you breathe in, notice as you breathe out. Notice all the sounds that you hear. Notice all the things you feel as you breathe. You just breathe in and out. As you go deeper into mindfully knowing all that is at this moment, as you go deeper, you begin to be aware of sensations in your body. The regular things that you feel, that you sense as you breathe in. As you breathe in all the awareness that you have of this moment, the sounds, the tingling you feel, the feeling of opening. And now the feeling of that breath as it is flowing, just flowing in and out in your rhythm that you are, even vibrating the very center of your being. Feel the tingling in your fingertips as this breath just fills our being, fills. pressure is felt, just fulfillment. The body now feels warm in the center, energy center, around your stomach, your solar plexus area. But not burning that scalds or anything like that. It's a gentle yet powerful burning. Like a battery, fully charged. And then distributing that energy through all your being. As you hold this feeling of fulfillment, of fullness, of life, breathing, filling, being. Just go deep into this place. The inside is just bursting with light, and tears might flow gently. Washing and making everything new again. I invite you to go deep into this place inside. And you get to this place where you remember as you feel the sensations throughout your being. You remember that gift you opened. When you looked up. And you saw your mom. Yes. That first breath. We open that gift. And we saw pure love. eyes met, we breathe the breath of life. And now you're in that moment. You're in that moment of the breath. That connection with all life. That you received when you breathed. And it came to you through your mom. And her smile, that smile that is always there. It is the breath manifest as you are. And now as you breathe into this moment that is now, and you gently open your eyes and your consciousness, always and always and always, you see. You can always see this. It's always there. It will always be there. Bless you. Join us for the service. Thank you. My name is Chris Glick, one of the practitioners. Namaste.
God morning, Ahiah. Absolutely. Thank you, Chris Glick. He was tickling the keys, taking us out to that ephemeral realm. We appreciate you. Welcome to live streaming and live service at Ahiah, the Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful downtown Pasadena, California, USA. Can you imagine that? Wow. And we're in the heart of the theater district. We have live bodies, and we've got mommies in the house and grandmommies, and and we know the Divine Mother is with us. And I say God morning because God is the only thing that's happening. And no matter what time you are viewing this, it's morning somewhere. So, God morning. I'm Reverend Michael Bernard Lattimore, your guide on the side this morning, your assistant minister, and honored to introduce to you all of the beloved ones who make this God's party possible. You've already got a sense of Chris Glick's consciousness. He is our musical director, licensed practitioner here, led us in the morning meditation this morning. Spoiler alert, there is a meditation every Sunday right before service, so you could tune in or come in person and get a checkup from the neck up. Ground yourself in that loving presence. He is accompanied by Leon Johnson on the bass. Leon. And right here in the corner of the building, we've got Brian Menifee holding up the rhythms, the percussions. He's got the beat going. Thank you, Brian, for your loving consciousness. Indeed, indeed. And then behind the scenes, we've got Harris, our technical director, our stage manager. He slices, he dices, he does it all. And in this booth would be Gloria. We want to send her love as a sound technician wherever she is. But I suspect Reverend Scott is filling in as our sound technician today. And for all those who work tirelessly behind the scenes, Dorothy is serving as our usher today. And yes, thank you, Dorothy. I want to thank Myrna Hawthorne for leading the Hugs group. So if you'd like to be an usher here, just see Myrna. Myrna is our licensed practitioner. She's going to lead us today in the invocation and the inspirational reading. So let's give Myrna Hawthorne some love. And we also have Patricia Roach. She's practitioner emeritus. She's going to do our power talk today. Let's give Patricia some love. There we go. We just spreading that mother's love out everywhere. And that's because today our theme for the Wisdom Talk is our mother's legacy. Our mother's legacy. And happy Mommy's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers If we were in a different venue, I would say all the mothers in the house say ow. But if you know what that is, that's why you're at church. But we really want to acknowledge the Divine Mother as she expresses her unconditional loving through all of the mothers and surrogate mothers and the godmothers and the aunties and even those who have allowed the Divine Mother's loving and nurturing to express through them. And so we just want to say thank you, Mommy Dearest. And that's the real mommy, right? We call it Big Mama. Yes. And so today, our theme for May is sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. And you can remember that it was an acronym called SIFT, S-I-F-T, which just reminds us that we are forever co-creating our world with the sensations and the images, the feelings and the thoughts. And if we allow those to be centered on loving and our mother's legacy, we could have a pretty good deal going here, yes? And so, why don't we get God's party started this morning? Gabriel always puts together these loving, inspirational video meditations. So let's tune in as we prepare for our service.
Wherever I am, I'm home. Even when I wander in the world alone, it doesn't matter where I go. Oh no, wherever I am, I'm home. I'm home. I'm home. I'm home. I'm home. Wherever I am, I'm home. Even when I'm wandering, I'm never alone. It doesn't matter where I go, oh no, wherever I am, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Thank you, Gabriel. And so, I am home. Isn't that wonderful? It's nice to be here at Ahiah this morning. It's nice to know that this is our spiritual home. And it's wonderful to be here on Mother's Day. It really is. And so I'd like to ask, oops, that's the wrong slide. I'd like to ask Myrna to come on up. She's going to do our invocation and our reading today.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, nurturers, lovers of life. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to be doing a reading from 365 Signs of Mind by Ernest Holmes today. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. There is only one power and one presence, God, the good, all-powerful, and ever-present. I am an individualized part of this universal presence and one with the universal power. I am a perfect expression of perfect life now, and everything necessary to the fullness of that expression comes to me. Today, I definitely claim as my inheritance life, love, peace, joy, power, and the abundance of all good. Running through me is the silent power of spiritual wisdom, harmony directing my thoughts and actions. I am surrounded by the atmosphere of love, and I am guided and governed by the impulse of love. This love casts out all fear, for fear cannot abide in the same household with love. I fill my consciousness with a sense of the love of God until my whole being is flooded with it. It blesses me, it heals me, it guides me, and it sustains me forever. The life of God is my life, self-existent and immortal. The truth of God is my truth, unconditional and eternal. The love of God is my love, complete and perfect now. So let us just turn within and just really appreciate those words, knowing that they express the mother consciousness that is being celebrated today. Mother, Father, God, how great thou art, how wonderful. I am so grateful for each and every person that is contributing to this service, to making us be more aware of the truth that love, God expresses through each and every one of our lives. What a gift to be able to love, express it, share it, and just nurture those that we love. I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for my life as a mother, my life as a grandmother, my life as a great-grandmother. I know this is true for myself. I know it's true for each and every person that hears my voice, that we are just grateful to be able to express the God love in our lives. I'm so grateful for this service, this reminder, this inspiration that feeds us throughout the week to just remember that God is everywhere present in everything, and that love is eternal. I know this to be the truth. I release this word into the law, knowing that God is good. And I just invite you to join me in saying, and so it is.
And so it is. Amen and amen. Thank you, Myrna. So now I'd like to ask Connie Rouse, come on up. She's going to do a song for us to get our Mother's Day journey off.
Good morning, Ahiah, and happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers and all of you who care and love and protect and nurture. We are so grateful for you. You are such a special, special soul. A shout out for Leon. Where is
Leon?
I guess we can't.
We're missing our bass.
I didn't notice. Oh, here
he
comes.
is.
walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, with you as the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my arms. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course I know it. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be. And I can fly higher than an eagle, with you as the wind beneath my wings. Thank you, thank God for you, the wind beneath my wings.
So smooth, so nice. And it's true, you know, our moms oftentimes are the winds beneath our wings. And so here we are this morning on our second Sunday of the month, and it is Mother's Day, and I want to say Happy Mother's Day to everyone here, but I also want to say Happy Mother's Day to those of you who are online. I realized I was talking to Mindy a few minutes ago, and I know she's online, and I didn't say Happy Mother's Day, so Happy Mother's Day, Mindy. And so our May theme, as Reverend Mike has said, is SIFT. It's about sensations and images and feelings and thoughts. And last week we started off our first talk of the month on that topic, and I gave you a quote from Maya Angelou that really talked about how powerful emotions are in our lives. And it says that, maybe I don't have that one. I think I forgot it. Well, I'll just tell it to you. It says that I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's so true. It's so true that our feelings and how we interact with people and how they make us feel is something that we carry around for so long. And so those emotions that we have are not just memorable, they're powerful. And last week I said that there was a connection between our thoughts and our emotions, and when they're disconnected, when it's disconnected, when they're not following the same line, what Ernest Holmes tells us, our founder tells us, is that it creates chaos in our lives. Chaos. And so, that's because our chaotic feelings go into the one mind, and we believe that our thoughts are creative, and so they get created back into our lives. So as I have chaotic thoughts, I create chaos in my life. And that's not what we want. We want an orderly life. At least I assume that's true, right? I have to tell you, I've been doing ministry for a while. I've been a practitioner for a long time, though, 15 years now. And I prayed with people before that. And all that time, no one has ever come up to me and said, please, 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 Reverend Scott, would you pray for chaos in my life? Right? Nobody does that. I have had plenty of requests over the years for order, though. And so I think that there's a place within us that desires order, that wants that order in our life, that is looking out into our future and trying to figure out how to get the order in our life. And what we say in this philosophy is, we need to bring the order into our mind. And what Ernest Holmes was talking about in the quote last week is we have to align our thoughts and our emotions in order to create that order in our lives. So we'll talk more about that as the weeks go on. We actually have 5 Sundays in May, so we'll talk about it for a while. But I'd like to go ahead and ask Patricia to come on up, and she's going to do a power talk for us. Come on down.
Good morning, Ahiah. And I would first like to send blessings of love, light, peace, and joy to all of the mothers and all of the beautiful people that allow the divine feminine to be expressed as nurturing, as love, and as inspiration and encouragement. And I just say thank you for all that you've done, all that you've given. So many people think of legacy as gifts of money, what you leave behind, the inheritance, property, whatever. But legacy is more than that. It's what is passed from generation to generation. It could be positive, it could be negative. And as SIFT says, emotions and feelings, all of that is involved in legacy. In what is passed down, what is passed from generation to generation. So I'm choosing today to speak about the positive part. And mothers are our first contact of loving, of inspiration, of that feeling of unconditional love, which is what the divine feminine expresses. So I'm going to speak from my own experience, and I'm going back to my grandmother. My great-grandmother was a midwife on Grand River in Oklahoma, and she cared for many of the Native Americans and people that were there. She died when my grandmother was 16. And my grandmother ended up marrying her husband and moving out to California. And her husband was killed, and she went into hiding because of fear for her life. But the one thing that she continued to pass down to her 3 girls was that strength, the love, and the desire for them to have education. My grandmother only had a 3rd grade education, yet she worked at the junior college in Modesto, California. And she raised those 3 girls. She was one of the most wisest and spiritual women that I have known. She made sure that all 3 of them were educated, and all 3, my 2 aunts and my mother, all became teachers, believe it or not. Different grades, but teachers. And they shared their love, knowledge with the children that they taught, and they all had their own spirituality, practicing different religions. The other part of it is that all 3 of them were active in their communities. So a sense of community and volunteering and helping others was also a legacy that was passed down from my grandmother. So my mother, which was the oldest girl, was very soft-spoken, patient, loving, and a creative woman. She was a seamstress and dressmaker by trade, and she had her own shop for a while, and she made hats. She exuded love, and everyone she met felt that. She was head of an alterations department in a high school teacher where she taught remedial reading and math. My mother was gentle, yet she was very strong. Of course, when I was growing up, I didn't think that. Growing up, I thought she was passive. I was active, an activist, and very mouthy. Can you believe that? I was mouthy. My mother never cursed, rarely. I can't even remember when she raised her voice. And I thank my mom for being such a wonderful example for me, just for being a woman, for being a woman of love, of peace within herself. And her creativity always amazed me. I didn't think that I had received that gene, but I'm finding out now I do have it. So a mother's love is that unconditional, non-judgmental love that you give to babies because they're innocent. But it's a love that continues throughout your life if you're fortunate to have a mother that is very nurturing, inspiring, and encouraging. And I was. So it took me some time to get to the point where I stopped jumping to conclusions before I would think. And when I was growing up, I would get excited, and my voice would go up, and people would think I was shouting or hollering at them, but it's just my voice would go up. I'm excited or upset. That part hasn't totally changed. I still have that tendency. But I can say that as I have matured, I thank my mother for giving me the ability to love unconditionally, to accept people as they are, not as you would want them to be, but as they are, and just love them for being who they are at whatever stage they are in their lives. I also think that as she encouraged and inspired me, I have been able to encourage and inspire not only my daughters, but their friends and other people in the world. And as I have matured, I have developed her generosity, her patience, and the desire to help others through community involvement. My mother was instrumental in Native American events and activities in Northern California. And she was always involved in something trying to improve the community for the people that live there. So I can say that women in my family have left a mother's legacy of what the word mother stands for, which is love, gentleness, nurturing, compassion, patience, and kindness. And I am attempting to follow in their footsteps. And my daughters laugh when they're doing something that reminds them of me and say, oh, I am Patricia's daughter. And they'll call me and tell me what they did. And yet they have my strength and my spirituality. They have a strong belief in spirit. And I would say that that is my legacy that I pass to my daughters, and hopefully they will pass to theirs. I invite you to look at what legacy you are leaving with not just your children, but people that you have influence over, people that you can encourage or you can inspire. Because it doesn't matter whether you're related or not. Your legacy is what we leave behind. And I just say thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Patricia. So as Patricia said, this week's talk title is Our Mother's Legacy. And, we all have a mother. Every last one of us. There's no getting around that. Whether we know that mother or knew her, or whether we knew her too well, we all had a mother. And, today I want to honor those mothers because, if nothing else, if they do nothing else, they gave us 9 months of living in their womb. I heard a man kind of laughing at that. But it's hard. It's a hard task. I've obviously never had any children that way, but I would imagine it's got to be the most difficult and the most rewarding at the same time. And so mothers do that, and I want to honor them for that. But they're also this ideal mother that Patricia kind of alluded to. A mother who has mother's love. With mother's love, there is no such thing as an ugly baby, right? They're all beautiful babies. And a mother's love also is caught up in being a caregiver. To that, as Patricia mentioned, this tiny little baby that's so innocent. What else could you do but care for that little baby? And then as we get older and go on, there's more challenges. But at the beginning, it's just this bond of love. But I think there's more to it than that. Because I think what mothers do for us is they reflect back to us and allow us to see who we are. So that we know that, we feel that, it's at our heart level. I'm talking about ideal motherhood from this place of mothers. I believe all mothers are doing the best that they can. Just like next month is Father's Day, and I'm a father of 3 boys. I wouldn't personally want to try and measure up to the ideal father level. I think it's easier than the ideal mother level, right? And I think that mothers do the best that they can, and we love them for it. And so, what my mother did for me was she told me, Scott, she said, you can do anything that you want to. Anything that you want. And so that reflection from her of who I was what allowed me to kind of be anything that I wanted. And it's a wonderful thing. I love my mother dearly for that one thing. Just that one thing was enough to earn my love and respect. So, if our mothers are there constantly kind of lifting us up in this ideal motherhood way, then what happens so often? Why is it that that legacy, that should be our mother's legacy, why is it that sometimes it doesn't work out for us? Why is it that that lifting up is kind of unfulfilled? Where is it that, apathy in our life takes over? And why is it that darkness sometimes shows up in our lives? What is it that causes that? Well, Carl Jung says that emotion is the chief source of all becoming conscious. There can be no transforming of darkness into light and apathy into movement without emotion. And so here we are again. Emotion is so strong. It's such a strong engine in our life. It creates, I call emotion energy in motion. And it creates all this power, all this ability to push us forward. But, we actually have to harness it. We have to harness that emotion and put it to the proper use, put it to good use. Because if we don't take that emotion that we feel and harness it, then it's kind of like having an engine in a car that doesn't have all the stuff behind it, the transmission and the drive shaft and the differential and the axle and the wheels that actually push the car forward based on the energy of the motor. I used to love old cars, and I would work on my 1960s cars all the time. And I remember the first time I ever saw an engine in a test stand. It's just sitting there on this thing that holds it up, and it'll run. It just runs. But I remember thinking, God, that's a lot of power to do nothing. It's doing nothing sitting there, running. And the average engine in a car has 120 horsepower. So it's like throwing 120 horses underneath your hood as far as the amount of power that it can give out. And so when it's on that test stand, it's just, racing, and there's no movement. And that's what it is for us when we don't engage the engine, when we don't have it in our vehicle with the transmission and all the other stuff that makes it go. And then there's one emotion that keeps us from moving forward also. And I would say that's apathy. And apathy, I believe, is created by fear. It's created by this fear that we will fail, fear that we're not good enough, fear that we're not worthy of succeeding. Whatever that is, we have these things that are feelings inside of us that actually kind of push us backwards. It's almost like we have the transmission in reverse instead of forward. And so Michelle Obama, she says this. She says, failure is a feeling long before it becomes an actual result. It's vulnerability that breeds with self-doubt and then is escalated, often deliberately, by fear. So as Reverend Mike would say, basically vulnerability and self-doubt get together and have a baby. Yeah. And that baby is failure. And, we say no ugly babies, but that's an ugly baby, right? That's an ugly baby. So we don't want to create these babies. We don't want to have failure in our mind. So what can we do about apathy? What can we do to move ourselves forward? What can we do to live out the legacy of our mothers? That love, that caring, that push for us to know ourselves fully and completely, for us to live a divine life. What can we do to overcome that? Well, I think that what we really need to do is embrace the concept of freedom. Freedom. when practitioners pray, we oftentimes we go back to the God qualities, things like love and peace and joy and harmony and balance and prosperity and wholeness and order, and there's a whole bunch of them. One of them is also freedom. And what we're saying about God qualities is that quality, this is a quality that is true of God 100%. Spirit can't be anything but 100% love. Spirit can't be anything but 100% freedom. But so often in prayers, we forget that God quality. And I think it's a really, really important one, especially to move us forward. You know, it's more than just a slogan. It's more than something that we tell our troops to go fight for. It's a quality of spirit, and it should be alive and quote-unquote free in our lives. And so, I was walking in the nature park the other day. For those of you who are new, I do a lot of walking with my dog in the nature park over by my house. It's been my spiritual practice now for about a year to do those walks in a very spiritual way where I am contemplating as I walk. And the other day I was walking through the nature park and I stopped because I heard a different kind of bird. So I was, walking with Ganesh, my dog, and I heard this bird. And the bird looked like this up on your screen here. There was actually 6 of them. 4 of them were pure black, and then 2 of them had this red markings on the front of their wings. And I, had to stop, and I stopped there for like 5 minutes to just listen to their bird calls. And I watched them, and they seemed to be watching me too. They were all 6 of them pointed in my direction, and they were all calling back and forth to each other. And I was just kind of entranced, standing there on the trail, watching these birds and listening to their song. And so when I got home, I looked up on the internet. I asked Gabriel to help me, and he looked up some stuff. I looked up some stuff, and the question was what do blackbirds mean? What's the symbolism for blackbirds? And what I found was that the symbolism for blackbirds is it symbolized the concept of every person's voice has a place, that we all have this inner power that we give voice to. And so I was thinking, what was it that I was thinking about as I encountered these blackbirds? What was being called to have a voice? And what I had been thinking about is I'd been thinking about this talk title of Mother's Legacy, and I had gotten to the point where I was thinking about freedom. And so this really kind of just, merged it together for me, how freedom is so important for us. And here's the thing about freedom, is if we know freedom to be the truth of ourselves, then nobody can take our power away. If freedom is the truth of ourselves, then nobody can make us feel small. If freedom is the truth of ourselves, then nobody and nothing can make us be less than who we have come here to be. That's why I say freedom is so powerful. When we're feeling like, we're not enough in any way, that we have been constricted by something, that we've been chained by something, that we or society around us is not allowing us to express who we are, what we need to know is the truth of who we are as individualized expressions of the divine. We are free, absolutely free. And what I know is that Spirit will always, always, always support us. Just like our mother, just like that loving expression that knew the truth of us. That's true of Spirit. That's 100% true of Spirit. Spirit knows us and reflects back to us exactly who we are. And Spirit is always there supporting us in being who we are, who we came here to be, who we are as whole, perfect, and complete in this world. That's what Spirit is doing for us every moment of every day. And so in that, we know that we are worthy because we live in the grace that God is. And so I'm going to leave you today with an affirmation. It's showing on your screen. And so I would like to ask you if you would read it along with me. I am worthy because I am alive. Let's say that again. I am worthy because I am alive. So as you go out into your week, what I'd like you to do is, take along with you this idea of honoring your mother. It's Mother's Day. And think about, whether she's alive or whether she's passed on, what is it that your mother's legacy is? When I talked to Gabriel, my husband, about that this week, about what's the legacy of my mother, what's the legacy of his mother, we were able to each come up with something that was particular to them. For my mother, what I remember is that she would always give anything she had to anybody who needed it. And that is a wonderful legacy. And the other thing is practice getting past any apathy that is in your life by embracing freedom, by embracing this truth of you, by allowing Spirit to support you and raise you up high, by allowing this life that God is to move through you and as you in all of your splendor. And if you're not quite sure exactly how to do that, just let Spirit guide you. Thank you. Namaste. And so, let's take this time, this opportunity to just anchor in these ideas of freedom in our lives with a little bit of prayer. So if you will join me as I drop down inside of myself to that place within. It's the only place that we know Spirit. It's the only place that we connect with the divine. It's when we look within, not without. When we feel that life, that power, that presence that God is in all of its infinitude and all of the awe that I feel for it. Knowing absolutely the love and the peace and the joy and the absolute freedom that God is always, always available to everyone and everything. And I'm knowing absolutely as that's the truth of Spirit, it's the truth of me, and it's the truth of you. It's the truth of all beingness, all consciousness. That this life that God is moving through us and as us, and all the splendor of who we are, in all of our individuality, in all of our hopes, our dreams, in all of our children, in all of the ways that we show up in the world. And I'm knowing absolutely that it's from that place of knowingness that I speak my word as the truth of each one of us today, knowing that the love that God is, that is so palpable on this Mother's Day, this love that we remember is just one aspect of the divine love moving through us and as us and showing up in every one of our relationships and all the ways that we show up and all the people that we interact with. I know absolutely that this freedom that God is supports us in our integrity, in our dreams, and our ways of being unfettered in life, of being able to do the things that we have put our mind to. I know that the reason that my mother said, "Scott, you can do anything you want to," is because Spirit says yes to all that there is. And so for knowing that truth, I just give thanks. Knowing the love and the peace and the freedom that God is right now, I just give thanks. I release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now is the time for our conscious contributions. So whether you're here or online, for those of you who are online, I know that many of you have already given, and we have 3 ways for you to give online. Either go to ahiah.com/donate, or text to give by texting the word give to 616-229-2225, and it will walk you through the steps that you need to in order to put in your credit card information. Or you can always mail a check to me, and I see Chaz is here today, and Chaz oftentimes gives me a little note, and thank you, Chaz. They're always great. I enjoy them so much. So if you want to put a little note in with the check, feel free to do that. And for those of you who are here today in service, there are offering envelopes in the pews. You can just go ahead and put your offering in there, and Dorothy is coming around with a golden plate for you to put that in. And if you're new and want to subscribe to our newsletter, you can go to ahiah.com/subscribe, or you can ask one of the ushers for a contact card, and they'll take your information. However that is, what I'd like you to do is, let's go ahead and say a blessing for that conscious contribution today. It's here on your screen. Let's say it together. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. Thank you, life. So, now I'd like to ask Connie, come back up. She's going to do a little song to open us up a little bit more.
You are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay in my heart. I feel like this is the beginning. Though I've loved you for a million years, if I thought our love was ending, I would find myself drowning in my own tears. Oh, you are the sunshine of my life. Yeah, that's why I'll always stay around. Yeah, you are the apple of my eye. Oh, and forever you'll stay in my heart. You must have known that I was lonely, because you came to my rescue. And I know that this must be heaven. How could so much love be inside of you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are the sunshine of my life. Oh, that's why I'll always stay around you. Yeah, 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 yeah. You are the apple of my eye. Oh, yeah. And forever you stay in my heart. Come on, I know you know this. You are the sunshine of my life. Yeah, that's why I'll always stay around you. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. You are the apple of my eye. Oh, mama. And forever you'll stay in my heart. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. And forever you'll stay in my heart. Oh, you're right there. And forever you'll stay in my heart.
Oh, yes, yes. Dorothy, would you go ask the kids to come? I think they missed our cue. They're back in the youth room now. We clean that back out after doing some rearranging and everything, so they probably can't hear the music. So we'll go ahead and start off with a couple of different announcements. The first one is we're going to have on not this Monday, but the following Monday, we're going to be doing a white resiliency workshop. So many of you know, and many of you online know, that we have been doing Creating the Beloved Community, a monthly workshop that's working on us understanding how to create safe environments for everyone, right? And it works around these issues of white supremacy and all the stuff that we don't really want to talk about, but we need to. And so we've been doing that monthly now since December of the previous year. So we're 15, 16 times in now. And on top of that, Reverend Mike and Marcia have been leading a Ubuntu circle for our folks who identify as Black. And so we also, last year we did a course on me and white supremacy for the folks who identify as white. And so now this week, or not this week, but on the 16th of June, or May, a week from Monday, we're going to be doing a workshop by myself and Reverend Jane Midgley, who is a minister out in Albuquerque. We're going to do a workshop on how to support us in opening up more and understanding more and how we can be resilient. And that term was specifically chosen because there's a term out there called white fragility. And so what we're doing is we're taking white fragility and we're turning it into white resiliency. So I would love for you to come. It will be a loving environment, very supportive. It'll be a place for us to just work on how to create a safe environment for everyone. Love to see you there. So now our kids are here. I'm going to back up and hand the mic over to Lisa.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. So just a reminder that we are having a little Mother's Day tea. If one of these people up here is your child, we invite you to come and we will serve you tea, and we have some goodies for you as well. And I have an announcement that it says save the date. June 5th, we are going to host a pasta lunch after the service. It'll be homemade pasta, garlic bread, and salad. And the reason is to send the kids to camp. So camp is coming up in July, and we have 3 people going. Neama is going, and then Phoebe and also Perry are going. So we need to raise some money for the kids to go to camp. Neama's going to tell you just a little bit about how camp has affected her life.
Thank you. Before I actually went to camp, I was very much against it. I did not want to go at all. It's like, this is dumb, this is stupid, there's no reason. But as soon as I got there, it was a completely different energy from what I was expecting, very life-changing for me. I think it really helped me as a person, and it's a really good way to make new friends and form a community of people who are just like you and are just as accepting as you. And just it's a good time, and I think it's a really life-changing experience for me and Perry and Phoebe. So yeah.
And I don't know about everybody else, but when I was new to CSL and heard the word camp, my idea of camp, I never actually went to camp, but I thought, it's canoes and stuff that you do outside. And it's not that. So everybody knows it is this amazing spiritual, they go very deep and really work on things and give them tools that they will carry throughout their life. And it's just why it's so important that they go. So please save the date, and we'll have more information as we get closer. And that's it for us. And we've got lots of treats, so everybody's welcome to come out and grab some homemade goodies. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. So yes, we're going to be having a number of fundraising activities to help support the teens in getting to camp, but we have a very short time window to get that money together for them. So we would love your support. And I know many people in here who have expressed support of our teens, and this will be a way for us to do that. Just another, did you know that we have open board meetings? They're on the 3rd Wednesday, so it's not this coming Wednesday, it's the following Wednesday. And you can get the Zoom link by going to ahiah.com/virtual. We have Women's Circle coming up. It's the 3rd Friday of every month, so that's coming up. And we have a ball game out in September that you can buy tickets cheap from us, much cheaper than you'll be able to find them anywhere else. It's $39 per ticket, and it's in the Loge seating, which is kind of in the middle of the thing. So it's decent seats, and we would love to have you buy one of those tickets if you want to go see a Dodger game. And I just want to remind you that we have practitioners. Would our practitioners who are here today and want to pray, would you stand up? And let these lovely folks see who you are. We've got Chris, Reverend Mike, Patricia, Marcia, and Myrna back in the back. And so any of them would be happy to pray with you. If you want to get contact information to talk to one of our practitioners and maybe set up a session with one of them, you can do that by going to ahiah.com/meetourpractitioners. We also have prayer that is offered online. So if you fill out this form at ahiah.com/prayers, we will pray for you. All of our practitioner body will pray for you. And only ministers and practitioners ever see those requests. And we also have Dial a Prayer, which is available on our website and also by calling into our phone number. And you can get a different message, reading, and a prayer every week on there. And so now, it's Mother's Day. Let's go out and celebrate some Mother's Day, but let's do it first by saying our benediction. It's here on the screen. Say it along with me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all of my affairs. I accept it. I am it. And I share it. Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. So there's going to be teas and some goodies out on the courtyard that the youth have put together. I'd love to see you out there. For those of you online, I'll be calling in on Zoom just in a few minutes. Love to chat with you there. And everybody have a wonderful Mother's Day. Thank you, and namaste.
I was thinking about 11 cups. Great.